Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today on this Thursday afternoon. And members of the Education Committee, thank you for your attendance today. And again, as I've said before, for your knowledge and skills that I see you using in the chamber. We are going to begin today here, if I can, with our first bill, I believe, that we have had in full committee, ready to go, that we're proud to hear from Chairman Corbett. Chairman Corbett, if I can, I'm going to ask you to come on up, and then I'm going to turn over to you before he speaks, Chairman Dubnik, if you don't mind, open us with a word of prayer. What's your number? 25. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. Lord God, for the blue skies and the fresh air outside, we just thank you. We thank you so much for each person and each family who's represented in this room. Lord, just wrap your arms around us. Give us traveling mercies as we go home. Lord, for those who are going home to family and to business, just give us time and strength, Lord, and your grace. We thank you for your wisdom and your guidance, Lord. Just pray that you would be with us in this meeting. Bless all that we do so that it may be for your glorification. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Chairman. Let us, if we can here, begin, and let me ask everyone on of the members here, please be cognizant of other members and their time and their questions as we get moving here. And Chairman Corbett, we are very, very proud of working on our first bill here as a team, and look forward to hearing from you and hearing this bill. So we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. It is an honor to be here this afternoon and to bring before you House Bill 81, LC 491061. Presently in the state, we have a grant program that assists some of our most rural schools in the state, help them build certain capital outlay projects that they would not be able to do without this program. So what we're doing with this bill, we're kind of revising some of the qualifications to be able to receive this grant. Presently, right now, you have to be in the bottom 25% for SPLOST collections and the bottom 25% far as the property value. We're updating that to add, if you will, look, on line 12, you got to have available funding to start with. And then on line 17 and 21, we are adding, they are either ranked in the bottom 25% or have been in the last 3 years. Sometime when they're ranked in there this year, they won't be next year. They own that bubble on and off. And by the time they able to pull the trigger the next year, they no longer own that to be able to apply for it. So we allow them a 3-year window to be able to apply if they're right there on that, the cutoff level. Then on lines 30, that are more than 35 years old, there's another part of the qualification. If you will consolidating two schools, if you're doing an elementary and a middle school and you're consolidating, you qualify for this grant, but we're adding that those facilities that you're replacing have to be at least 35 years old. Presently in Georgia, we provide maintenance and operation funding for schools at 10, 15, and 20 years to help with HVAC and roofing and that kind of stuff. So we provide for maintenance to keep those schools up. So we're adding this targets it more to the schools that really need it more. These are the older schools that we're consolidating. So that's what we're doing there. And then in lines 41 through 46 is actually the meat of the bill, what we're doing here to try to help other schools that might be just out of that bottom 25%. We're changing where if you utilize one of these grants and it's determined that your needs have been met, then you roll off of that list for 10 years. And then now the next one in line will be able to roll on to help qualify for that. So we're trying to help more rural schools that would never be able to afford a new facility without this program. It's a great program, and I know some systems that have utilized it and been a great asset to them. And I appreciate everything that the state has done up to this point, and hopefully we can help other schools by doing this. And in lines 47 through 58, just the school, the state board of education is established some rules. We said just a couple minimum things that we want prioritize. If there's not available funding to do everybody is listed, you prioritize by first the one with the lowest SPLOST collection. So instead of giving it to they're the ones that really need it the most. And the other thing is to determine the manner in which to determine whether a school system-wide is eligible needs have been met. Then other than that, there's other rules they can propagate, but that's the two that we put in there. Mr. Chairman, that's what the bill does. I'll try to answer any questions. I know we passed this same bill out of the House last year. I think the vote was 169 to nothing. It was one of them that, you know, you hear it quite often. A lot of it got over to the Senate, got through committee, and just didn't make it to the floor for a vote on the final day. But I'll try to, you know, answer any questions that the committee might have, and we appreciate your favorable consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good job with this bill. And we have one question for you here. Number 23.
Yes, sir, at the appropriate time.
Yes, I'll entertain a motion of due pass.
This is John's bill. I don't have the LC.
House Bill 81.
House Bill 81, LC 491061. I move that this committee move due pass.
Okay, we've got a motion to move. Do we have a second? Second. We do have a second. Chairman Dubnik, with that, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Your bill passes. Thank you for our first one. Team worked hard for you, and you worked hard. Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Thank you, members of the committee. It's really helps rural Georgia. Thank you.
Chairman Corbett, you've been working hard all day. Good job in the chamber. I see you're taking some breaths as you're walking out the door now.
I'm headed to a transportation meeting.
Oh, you got enough?
But I tell everybody I swear I wound up getting married. I couldn't tell them no, you know. I just.
We'll ask your district to get you a raise. How's that sound? Great job. All right, what we'll do is House Bill 87 is next on our group. What I'll do is I'll turn it over as I will be presenting that bill to the committee, to Vice Chair Helton.
$24, you got a question down there? Oh, you're teed up. Woo! Friendly question. All right, everybody, get your questions teed up for the chairman then. All right, Mr. Chairman, we heard and favorably approved your bill through subcommittee, and now I assume we'll be hearing from you, the author, on LC 491204S is what I've got.
Absolutely, that's what I have, LC 491204S. Hopefully everybody's looking off that substitute that we have there. And I do appreciate the members today, and I do appreciate the effort that you showed on Monday of questioning, going through this bill in detail, as I expressed that this is a helping children that are at risk of dropping out. And we're calling them completion schools here so that we can help those children at the end of their careers go ahead and get their high school diploma. And we know the value of a high school diploma in this country. And so this bill is an opportunity to not put all of the children inside the same box. They get other opportunities. So I look at it also as an ability for the state to be flexible at assisting those children that would otherwise drop out. It does change a model that we currently have in place that is being changed by a Senate bill that was passed a couple of years ago. And we did a study, committee members, on how to best implement that bill as it was beginning this coming July. For 3 of our current programs that are out there, more specifically Mountain Ed, Foothills, and Coastal Plains by name there. So this it gives them another option and another opportunity to stay open, to stay as what we call as an LEA. It addresses the governance of that LEA. It addresses, as you have seen, the accountability for those children. And the graduation rates has definitions of things like a graduation rate, and then the funding. We talk about the funding being broken up into two segments, whether it's a program child that is using that school as a program through what we called an MOU, or a full enrolled student in the LEA, which is what you're very accustomed to in your high schools. It would be an LEA, and how those students are enrolled, how they're funded there. So one quick part on the program funding means that they will come from the home school to that school, but will be funded through the home school. So if they came out of your home high school and then attended one of these schools, the program funding would then go to the home school and then can be transferred to this LEA. So if I'll give you one example, I think that could easily be used. A student that needed credit recovery for a course that they did not pass. They only need one. They could go and get credit recovery from this school at night and also still attend their school during the day, or catch up and then come back to their home school. So there's many different options there for credit recovery. That is a quick dive into this bill. It's again trying to assist our students and open up flexibility for those that drop out or potentially are going to drop out, and adds options. I'll finish by telling you that we have opened it up here in there for 7 different zones in the state of Georgia. And in those zones, in this bill, we also have a couple of areas in the state of Georgia that are not represented with this type of opportunity currently. I mentioned the 3 different school systems: Coastal Plains, Foothills, and Mountain Ed. So you could imagine the southwest, central west sections of our state have been asking for this, but they don't have an opportunity for their children currently to attend it. And of course, traveling all the way above Atlanta is too far for a Bainbridge kid to go to try to attend one of those. So we have incentives in this bill to try to open up in these different zones that we've set up schools that would provide this opportunity. This is an evening type program. So, Mr. Chairman, that's a quick dive into this one. As you've seen, it's 22 pages, and willing to take questions.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And with that, I will open it up to questions. I've been told you've got a friendly one. I will recognize Representative Carter.
Thank you, Chairman. Okay, so what I was trying to, visualize, like with the 7, we're opening it up to the 7 schools, and we were talking about zones. When you were initially talking about those, when you were describing the schools, I was thinking they were just in particular areas, and then I think the person who testified for, I want to say maybe Foothill, was saying that they have 21 locations, and they also provide the education for
Correctional institutions.
the school, but it has a name. Yeah, but the name of the system.
Juvenile justice.
No. Anyway, there's one down in Albany. They put one in Milledgeville. I just can't tell you what it is off the top of my head. Yeah. Anyway, it'll come to me. Youth Challenge. That's where I was trying to go.
Okay.
Youth Challenge. So how? I guess I'm trying to understand, how would this work if in opening up in the zones, and if they already have multiple locations, or will we just segregate, like if they have locations in zone 1, zone 2, or that's the only piece that I was trying to understand, to figure out how that will work. If there's one school system with multiple locations.
Okay, currently, if these 3 current ones, we've grandfathered that in until a school system like this, an LEA, opens up within that zone, then they would absorb that that youth challenge program or that school system that is outside of the existing zone. Is that making sense to you? So we have a mechanism by which when a school system opens up, so we're not shutting any down, but when an LEA opens up inside that zone, a new one, they will also take that program you're talking about, and that new one will then govern over the function of that school.
We're going to try to, I want to fit everybody in here. I got a few of the lights, so let me,
And I hear what you're saying. Okay, so
I'm sorry.
So in the instance like with Youth Challenge, like I said, I know there's one in Albany and then there's one in Milledgeville, totally separate areas, and they're interconnected. So would that mean that if a LEA opens in Albany, that they would take those students, then a Youth Challenge students, and then another LEA opens up over in the Milledgeville area, they would take those students? So there would be two different systems inside of the Youth Challenge?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And I foresee that happening pretty quick, too. I believe there are 3 of those programs that are existed, and I believe they're all under Foothills at this time. One of them is all the way down in close to Liberty, I believe, in Liberty County. I would foresee that the district down the zone that would be opening up, or if it's Coastal Plains, that would absorb in that group right there. What we believe that, and the reason is we're strong believers in local control. So we want the closest school systems making the decision for those children instead of the one that might be all the way across the state or on the north end in the mountains making the decision for Bainbridge. We want the ones closest to Bainbridge making those decisions.
Thank you, Representative Carter. I will recognize now my good friend, Representative Maynard, to my left.
Thank you, Chair. So right now, there were before 3 zones per se. They weren't called zones before.
No, they
So-
were statewide.
Okay, and
All
so
3 of them operate statewide.
So now that we have the 7 zones, if Atlanta Public Schools per se says, I would like this to go forward, they could start their own, or they could contract with Foothills. And if Foothills wanted to, they could expand up into the metro area.
The answer to that is yes, they could collaborate with the closest one, which is currently what they're doing, which that zone would be Cherokee County, would also be Forsyth County, that Atlanta would be in. We'll just use the term metro. Atlanta would be a zone. And so they could contract currently, and 2 of them are with Mountain Ed at this time.
And then just for the public, if a metro school system wants to utilize this opportunity, their first step is to contact the DOE?
Well, in the bill, that's correct. The DOE is charged with trying to help systems move. We're also asking the current systems or move towards development. The current systems are also encouraged to help because one of them just opened up in the last few years and has a very good experience on how to start that. And so we'd want to transfer that knowledge to make that as painless as possible for one starting up. But Representative, we also have funds within this bill to help those systems start up because they'd have to hire staff, get everything in place, and that is before they could get their QBE, FTE count done, so they would start receiving funds. So there is startup amount that the DOE will be overseeing. I can tell you this is one of the biggest parts of this. We've got a chance to transfer this very quickly all over the state to help these children. And there are a lot that we're missing, and every year that goes by, we're missing children, and as they get older, we miss that opportunity. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Valentine's Day is just a few days away, so I'm going to refer it to my fellow pink partner here, Representative Evans. Don't forget to buy the flowers, gentlemen out there. Representative Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. I kind of wanted to piggyback on what Representative Maynard was saying. I represent an urban district, so I think like DeKalb has an alternate school now. So if a school system doesn't want to participate, they don't have to. It requires an MOU with these new schools, with the completion schools. Is that right?
Yes, Representative, you're exactly right. There are systems that already provide this themselves. A majority of those are the larger systems in the state that they have the number of kids, which is key to do it.
Right.
Whereas the smaller systems have to pool together to make this work.
Great. I'll recognize Chairman Dubnik for a question.
Thank you. Chairman Irwin, I just wanted to point out the statement that you made a minute ago and emphasize that under this bill, the expansion that you discussed, moving statewide and helping the children of Georgia would occur. Is that correct?
Yes, we are confident and have already begun some discussions with some other systems that are very involved in getting this done.
Well, as someone who watched very closely this issue and your work on this over the last 12 to 14 months in front of this committee, I just want to say thank you for your work on this, your due diligence on this. And Chairman Hilton, at the appropriate time, I'd like to make a motion, please.
Yes, looks like we've got one more question from the committee. Yep.
Well, the chairman of our House Education Appropriations took my willingness to do the due pass, so I'll yield to him for that in a moment. But I did want to just point this out for some of the folks that are new, just so they understand. I'm thankful for the effort that you did. I can't speak to what Coastal has done for its region or what Foothills has done for it specifically. I've heard great things. But as a person who was going into high school when Mountain Ed was created, in my community, in our region in North Georgia, the 5,300-ish students to 5,500 students that have had a pathway to graduation since its inception 30 years ago has been transformational for families so that those folks could get jobs. And I'm excited that we're going to have the opportunity to see that statewide. And I know that there was some conversations about this, that folks were concerned that somehow this was going to go away. And I know from day one that you knew that wasn't going to happen, and you worked very diligently to ensure that we can continue what that 30-year trajectory has done, and I think it will continue to grow. But now we get to share that opportunity across the state. So I'll be happy to second the chairman's due pass motion.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader.
Mr. Chairman, I feel good about your bill here. We've got, looks like, one more question. Representative Glaze with a question.
I just want to say good afternoon, Chair, and I'm sorry for running late, coming from another committee meeting. I do want to just speak to this bill. It is exceptional in its effect. I believe that it's going to help so many students who are in that low wealth category, and I just want to commend us for thinking about leveling up with students of poverty and how their needs are greater, and that the state of Georgia is recognizing that. So thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. At this time, I will entertain a motion.
Thank you, Chairman Hilton. I move that House Bill 87 do pass by committee substitute.
Do I hear a second? Second. All right. Hearing no more discussion, the bill has a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, shall this now pass? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, like sign. Pass.
Can I vote for my own bill?
Go for it. Yeah. You are on to rules. Congratulations.
No, I need to make
Yeah.
a comment if I can before we close the
Yeah, meeting is not adjourned, Chairman.
If you'll just 1 second, Mr. Chairman, here.
I don't know if I want to give up the chair.
Thank you. Thank you, members, and honestly, thank you for your questions. We're on to good things there, and Representative Glaze, I agree with you that we need to think about these children more. We have a tendency, those that either quit or drop out, we don't think about them enough, and this gives us a very strong opportunity to start that and engage that and continue to work with them. I'm proud of the programs that are in existence, and we need to see if we can support them, not decrease them. I want to point out our next meeting for our subcommittees are Monday. Policy is going to, in what we've done and what I'm trying to do is keep everybody current, so you've got plenty of time to look through these to develop your questions, members. We're going to look at hearing only on 2 bills. Now, let me explain that to you. We're going to bring these 2 bills out, and we're going to, what I'll tell you is vet them out, hear them. There will be no voting on them. But I feel we need to hear more information on 2 of them in policy. First one is HB 51, carried by Chairman Perkle. The next one is HB 141 by Representative Maynor. These again, one of them is over school buses. The next one's on suicide. Again, we'll be hearing only, and we'll vet those out. I feel we need to know more about them as we get into them. The curriculum is also scheduled for Monday. By the way, policy is 1 o'clock. If you're on policy, that's yours, and 5:15 CLOB at 1 o'clock. Curriculum is at 2 o'clock and 5:15. And it's going to hear HB 32, Representative Douglas, and that's instant replay bill that we'll be hearing. So what I'm getting to is we're starting a lot of movement. We've got numerous bills. We had quite a few bills drop today. I need your effort. I need you reading them. I need you asking questions, and I need our goals thought in your mind. And that is safety first, literacy second, and great policy for me. As you're looking at these bills, as you're developing these bills, think about it. I'm not seeing enough for my taste right now for safety or literacy. I want to hear more conversation about that. We like to talk about the difference between chalkboards and whiteboards, but we need to get safety and literacy up there, and we need to talk more about those 2. And if we get that, we'll have great policy. So y'all, please, in your weekend, and you're talking to your constituents, start filling your mind full of those type of things, because I think that's going to move our state forward in the right direction the most. And I think we can collaborate well with the Senate. Now, I'm going to charge you a little bit with, I think Senate's doing a good job on safety and literacy. I want us to match it and do better. So got that Monday, got that going on. Great job today. We stand adjourned.